Action News Network is an Aboriginal American media network. As such, we are protected under the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, or DRIP, Articles 8, 14, and 16. Action News Network is allowed to provide Aboriginal news and media content on non-Indigenous media platforms free of oppressive censorship. Any breach of this protection is a breach of international law.
Very disturbing news. Very disturbing news. It's Action News Network. It's Action Jack in the flesh, baby. You already know. It's so important. I'm actually going to it's not like I hide anything, but I usually don't really show myself too much. But this is important right here. So my New York Times subscription. Oh, that's coming through. And working wonders. Jersey City shooting. If you haven't heard, it was some sort of they don't want to say it's a terror attack, but it's definitely it's definitely an attack, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say the T word too much. I probably got one strike right there. But Jersey City, you see that word right there, suspect linked to Black Hebrew Israelite group. Alright? And when we gonna talk about those people of the Jewish faith, religion, and as they claim to be an ethnicity, we're gonna call them the Star Children, right? So I'm not gonna just say it outright because I don't want to get striked and stuff like that. I already had enough problems, going in that direction. So the Black Hebrew Israelite have been labeled a hate group. The suspect wrote anti-Semitic and anti-police posts, an official said. And as I said before, that fucking BIE list, man. I told you they planning something, Didn't I say something in one of my last videos, like 2 videos ago? Didn't I say they trying to tie all of this A.D.O.S. and BIE shit some way, somehow to violence? And look what they done did. Alright? Right now, investigators are examining links to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Aftermath of a gunfight at a kosher market in Jersey City, New Jersey. Don't get it twisted. Gunfight in Jersey City is not, uncommon and shit. This was definitely something different. So what you need to know, an assailant had links to the Black Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? I already said that the Black Hebrew Israelites is like how the Black Panthers kind of was, some people could say they almost was an organization that from the beginning was started just to derail the Black Power movement. It goes deep, yo. I'm telling you, it goes deep. Some might say the Nation of Islam is one of those type of groups. They keep a whole bunch of passive brothers, right? Look what they doing with Scientology. You gotta think of all this shit. Surveillance footage shows the kosher market was targeted before the gun battle. There was a shooting at a cemetery. 2 members of the Hasidic community was killed. It's gonna look bad. This look real bad. You can't be messing around with the Star Children. The shooters are prime suspects and another killer. Ain't no black dude killing nobody in New Jersey and getting away with it. To go ahead and do it again. Alright, move myself a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. An assailant involved in a prolonged firefight in Jersey City, New Jersey that left 6 people dead, including 1 police officer, was linked on Wednesday to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, which has been designated a hate group and published anti-Semitic posts online. A law enforcement official said the violent rampage on Tuesday took place largely at a kosher supermarket where 3 bystanders were killed. The authorities now believe that the store was specifically targeted by the assailants, whom they identified as David and Anderson, 47, and Francine Graham, 50. A lot of this shit is not going to really make sense. All right. I mean, the Hebrew Israelites, they go hard and shit like that. I know a lot of them brothers and shit back in New York, but you know, they go blow up a supermarket, it's a little extra, smells a little Asian, you know what I mean? Mr. Anderson appeared to have a connection to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement through the extent of his involvement in the group remains unclear, although his extent of involvement remains unclear, okay? Law enforcement official said the Black Hebrew Israelites have no connection with mainstream Judaism, and it has been described as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, a legal advocacy group that tracks such movements, blah, blah, blah. Southern Poverty Law Center really can eat a dick. They don't really help nobody. It's like an overly liberal group and shit. The authorities also suspected that the 2 assailants may have been involved in a separate killing in neighboring Bayonne, New Jersey, according to New Jersey Attorney General, pause. It's getting to me. Gabir S. Garol. Jeez, can we get some regular names, man? Among those killed on Tuesday were 3 bystanders who were inside the store when the shootout began. They've been identified as Mendel Franks, 33, who ran the market with her husband, Moshe Deutsch or Dutch, 24, wow, man, talk about robbing cradles. I'm sure you got a man damn near 10 years younger than her, a rabbinical student, you know, studying to be a rabbi who lives in Brooklyn, and Miguel Douglas, 49, who believed to have worked at the store. One other person inside the store was wounded but managed to escape, according to Mr. Garol. The Jersey City police officer who was killed, identified on Tuesday as Detective Joe Sills, a 15-year law enforcement veteran and father of 5. Not looking good for them BIEs. It's not looking good for. I'm gonna be honest. Any black person right now talking about any Hebrew shit ain't looking good for. No matter if you, I don't care. You don't have to be a Black Hebrew Israelite. I'm just saying Shalom and Shalom online is just gonna, you know what I'm saying, while talking, you know, down with the devil type shit. You know, that's gonna get you caught up. I know assailant had links to the Black Hebrew Israelites. Stephen Fulop, Jersey City mayor, speaking on Wednesday. Oh, that's a beautiful press picture for a fake event, or you know, a staged event. Let's say that for a staged event. You know what I'm saying? You get the snow blowing in right after everything. You know what I'm saying? And this box is kind of doofy. I should have just made it smaller. So I can bring it in a little bit. That's a little bit better. Investigators also found a manifesto-style note inside the assailant's van. A law enforcement official and another official familiar with the case said the document was described as brief and rambling, suggesting no clear motive for the shooting. Investigators also found a live pipe bomb inside the vehicle that was operable explosive. There's an operable explosive device, the official said on Wednesday. The law enforcement official could not provide more details about Mr. Anderson's online posts or where they have been published. He said investigators are still reviewing that information. It almost sounds like a fucking movie. Wait till we get to the end of this fucking whole fucking joint. It's gonna sound like a fucking movie. Believe me, watch. While the exact beliefs of the black Hebrew Israelites vary among groups associated with the movement, followers generally believe that 12 tribes of Israel defined in the Old Testament are different ethnic groups or nations, and that white people are not among them. I gotta give it up to these motherfuckers. They really put this together. You know what I'm saying? They traded mostly anti-Semitism. Said Heidi Barich, the director of intelligence project the Southern Poverty Law Center, they view I'm gonna say star children, because I don't even want to just read that in this damn thing, as imposters. She added that the movement has not been known for committing mass acts of violence, which is totally true. They might be dickheads. You know, sometimes it should be funny because they be halfway on point, but I ain't never seen them get in people's face and like really like physical no shit. Never. Excuse me, it's getting a little cold out here in the Piedmont. Alright, let's finish this up, yo. It was unclear whether Ms. Graham also had ties to the black Hebrew Israelites. Her brother Frederick Graham said he was not aware of any links to the movement. I don't know what's happening, Mr. Graham 52 said, sounding distressed. I didn't know she was part of any of that. I was trying to get more information. Miss Graham grew up in the Manhattanville houses, a public housing project in West Harlem, where her mother still lives according to neighbors. My whole family's from Manhattanville, that area, Convent Avenue. That's 125th Street and Old Broadway. And Broadway up there by the 1 train, Manhattanville houses. Shout out to everybody out there. Alright, so every nice person, said Alice Harriet, a neighbor who has known Miss Graham's family for decades. Always a nice conversation to keep. Miss Harriet said she had not seen Miss Graham in about a year and that she knew no connections to the Hay Group. A man who answered a knock at Miss Graham's mother's apartment declined to comment. We don't know anything, he said, through a closed apartment door. Sorry. Throat's a little scratchy right now. At a news conference on Wednesday, Mr. Garor said he would not comment on the assailant's motives. We are working to learn more about the shooter's motivations, whether anybody besides the 2 gunmen may have been involved, Mr. Garor said. Officials said they do not believe there was any ongoing security threat related to Tuesday's events. Surveillance footage shows the kosher market was targeted. Like I said, a lot of shit is speculation, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, when it comes to these staged events, the narrative's already been written, you know what I'm saying? So if the narrative's written, all this shit's like a fucking play. It's a fucking, like reading a goddamn script, man. It don't mean for all you people get triggered about people talk about staged events, the double F's, right? For all you get triggered, it don't mean people didn't really die. It just means motherfucking the shit was set up, alright? People die in staged events. They don't give a fuck about that shit. So Jersey City's Mayor Stephen Fulop said the surveillance footage indicated the 2 attackers had targeted a kosher supermarket with most of the carnage unfolded, right? So Mr. Fulop said on Wednesday that footage revealed that after the assailants shot Detective Seals in an early encounter, they drove slowly and deliberately to the market roughly a mile away. See, a lot of shit don't even fucking make sense. Here's the mayor of Jersey City on his Twitter page talking about last night after extensive review about closed circuit TV system. It's now become clear from the cameras that the 2 individuals targeted the kosher grocery location on Martin Luther King Drive. The 2 Jersey City PD officers that were on foot, post 1 block away, immediately responded and engaged. Right? Shit just doesn't add up. It's like a bad movie. The perpetrators stopped in front of there and calmly opened the door with two long rifles, he said. Mr. Phillip, Jersey City's public safety director, James Shea, said that after the attackers left the van, they walked past others on the street and aimed at people inside the Culture supermarket. We do not know. We now know this did not begin with gunfire between police officers and perpetrators and then moved into the store, Mr. Shea said. It began with an attack on civilians inside the store. And mind you, the story changed a lot throughout the whole fucking day yesterday. Mr. Phillip has not said whether the violence is related to anti-Semitism. Though in a related post on Twitter, he said that hate and anti-Semitism has never had a place in Jersey City, you know what I'm saying? So Mr. Shea said the attackers' motives were still being investigated. Initially investigators said they believe that the attackers randomly chose the market and that the episode was not a hate crime. Mr. Shea added on Tuesday that there was no indication of terrorism. By Tuesday night, however, Mr. Phillip said on Twitter that officials had come to believe that the assailants had targeted the location they had attacked, right? Everything's just funny stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to talk about that Detective Sills, who supposedly I don't even say supposedly because homeboy probably did really die, so, you know, rest in peace to the police officer. We want to show respect. Approach the two assailants, a man and a woman, who were inside the U-Haul van at a cemetery near the kosher market because the van has been linked to a homicide. Over the weekend, according to law enforcement officials, the official did not have any more details on that specific homicide, I guess. Video surveillance footage shows the assailant shooting the detective and driving away. Ended up in front of the kosher market. It just sounds crazy. Nobody really puts that much thought into committing crimes like that, man. It's just too much. So it shows you the area. Jersey City's right across the Hudson River, directly from Lower Manhattan, the financial district of New York City. You can easily take ferry from Lower Manhattan to Jersey City, or take or take New Jersey Transit. They have little PAV trains that go into Jersey City all the way out to Newark, I believe. Very close to New York, just right over, like the 5-minute train ride. Two members of the Hasidic community was killed. Hasidic community, this is bad, y'all. You're messing with the Star Children. You cannot kill and be messing with the Star Children, yo. They already need to be perceived as victims, so you can't mess with the Star Children. When you do, it's a wrap. Hasidic leaders on Wednesday morning identified two members of the community who were killed inside a kosher market. Again, with the Mendel Ferenc, whose family owned the market, was working at the store at the time of the attack. About 5 years ago, she and her husband were among the first Hasidic Jews to relocate to Jersey City from Williamsburg, Brooklyn. You see the story, the narrative. The couple had 3 children. The Rabbi Mordecai Führerwerker. That's a hell of a German name. Hell of a German name. Not a Hebrew name. Hell of a German name, though, right? A leader in Jersey City Hasidic community, right? I'll just pause a little bit so you can catch it when you're on. I cried my eyes out already. I'm feeling pretty broken, said the victim's mother-in-law, Victoria Ferenc, 72, who heard the news on Wednesday morning from Jewish media. I feel sorry for my son. I remember the Crown Heights riots back in like 92, 93, when they was going after the Star Children out there in like Williamsburg and shit, in Brooklyn. That was a big deal. She's going to heaven, but he and his children will have it hard. At the time of the shooting, her son had gone to a nearby synagogue and his wife was tending the market. She said shots rang out and the synagogue was put on lockdown. Another victim was Mr. Deutsch, or Dutch, whatever, another, Germanic name, for supposed Hebrew star children. The 24-year-old rabbinical student in Manhattan at a news conference at City Hall, Rabbi David Niederman. Wow, it's a lot with the Germanic names. The executive director and president of the United Jewish Organizations, United Jewish Organizations of Williamsburg, I can say that, said that Mr. Deutsch helped lead a food drive this year during the Star Children holidays and helped to feed 2,000 people. Rabbi Niederman described Mr. Deutsch as extremely kind and generous and a go-to person when his peers needed help. Boy, they gonna drag this one out, huh? As he spoke to a young victim, the rabbi choked up. Can you imagine a few hundred bullets went through the body of a 24-year-old child? Rabbi Niederman said, how can we as people in the community bear that? They were trying to make it seem like, the black community and this community was like really tight in this area and stuff like that. So it's not going to look good. You know what I'm saying? The BIE, your first victims, is the star children. Okay?